Over the years, I've tried various fighting games. The ones I enjoy the most are Tekken, Dead or Alive, and the King of Fighters. Out of those three, I've always felt the most comfortable with the King of Fighters series. I think there's something about the core gameplay that really clicks with me. I like the 2D style gameplay, the characters you can choose from, the control scheme being based around light and hard kicks and punches is much easier for me to wrap my head around than having a middle punch and kick. And I like that you have to assemble a team of 3 fighters. I think that's much better than the whole tag team sort of thing other fighting games often use. My favorite fighting game of all time is the King of Fighters 13, and while some games in the series had bigger rosters or handled a few things a bit better, I think KOF 13 still wins because of the super smooth and fast-paced gameplay previous games lack. The newest game of the series, the King of Fighters 14, has changed things up by switching over to 3D, though the gameplay still takes place on a 2-dimensional plane. As you can imagine, I was very concerned when I first heard about that, and even more so when I saw the first screenshots. Recently I was given a Steam gift card, so I thought I'll go ahead and check it out for myself. Just so everyone knows, I'm not good at fighting games, so certain gameplay elements and changes will go right over my head. This review is from a point of view of someone who likes these types of games, but plays them more casually. Having played KOF 14 for a little while now, I think it manages to retain the smooth gameplay I liked from the previous game, and the amount of characters has increased quite a bit, which is awesome. But there are some changes I find questionable, most notably the graphics, of course. At the very least, the game feels like a step sideways to me, or even backwards depending on how much you like or dislike the graphics. If you've played other KOF games, this game should feel familiar to you, especially if you compare it to 13. Moving characters around on the screen feels exactly like 13, so I felt relatively comfortable right away. I noticed some changes with some of the characters' special moves, but the biggest change for me was how the EX specials work. You activate them by doing a special attack and pressing either both punch or kick buttons at the same time. You can think of it like a better version of a special attack. In 13, EX specials use 1 bar of the meter, but in 14 you have to go into max mode by hitting light kick and heavy punch before you can actually use EX specials. Max mode only lasts a limited amount of time, and I always feel rushed to perform my attacks within this small time period. Maybe someone who's a bit better at this game can tell me if high-level players find this change good or bad, because I have read that many people consider 14 to be more balanced than 13. I'm starting to get used to it though, and in a way it forces me to become better at executing moves. The menu is very contemporary and includes all the different game modes you might want to play. This time story mode and arcade mode are one and the same, unlike with KOF 13, where they were separate for some reason. Just so you know, I don't follow the story in any fighting game, so I won't even talk about it here. There's also a tutorial, training, missions, and things of that sort for a bit of variety. If you navigate the menus, you'll notice that it's 30 frames per second, which is strange because the game runs at 60 FPS during actual gameplay. There's some cutscenes where the same thing happens as well, and I'm not really sure if this is something only I'm experiencing, like a bug or something, or if it's just a thing this game does. There are a lot of fighters to select from. My usual team of Kenzo, Athena, and Kula are all present here, so that's good for me. But you can already see some of the characters' faces just look off. They're so derpy. What happened to your face, man? Some are worse than others. The character designs themselves, minus the head, look great, and I like the look of a lot of the new characters too. They're distinctive, and a lot of the older characters have some new outfits to keep things interesting. I think KOF not only stands for King of Fighters, but King of Fanservice. Not that there wasn't any fanservice in the past. Mai's bounciness is a trademark of the series, of course, but I guess the pixel art left more to the imagination. I certainly don't have a problem with it, it's just something I noticed. What's this? Am I playing Tekken? I found the dinosaur to be completely out of place, and listen to that attempt at a roar. As if that's not enough, what is this thing? Sylvie wins without a doubt the most ridiculous character design in a fighting game award. She looks so over the top and the eyeballs are creepy looking. I'm guessing that was the point. The camera is more dynamic because of the move to 3D. It's cool how the camera zooms in, but at the same time, things like special effects just don't have as much impact. Athena is a good example because of her sparkly particle effects. Here she is in KOF 13, and visually speaking, there's a lot going on here. In KOF 14, however, it's just not as exciting to look at. Hits feel more satisfying if there's a lot of visual excitement in my opinion, and 14 looks muted in that regard. but still it has its moments too. There's a good variety of stages to choose from, but they don't look as good as some of the previous games' stages. In the past, the stages ranged from funny to atmospheric, and I don't really get that with the current game. But once you're into the fight, I never really pay that much attention to the background. The music is varied and exciting when you play the game. The sound effects are really similar to the previous game. In fact, I think a lot of the sounds are actually recycled, which is fine because I think they were good anyway. The announcers are ridiculous. The voices are fine, but it's more about what they're saying.
You win! You win! You win!
Congratulations!
You lose!
I'm beginning to think that they did this on purpose as a joke, but it's funny, so I've got no problem with it. In the end, in terms of gameplay, the King of Fighters 14 is up to par with its predecessor, except for that one complaint I had earlier. It's still fast-paced and super smooth though, which is the most important thing to me. I'm having a ton of fun with it anyways. In this video I mostly play the same characters, but I'm looking forward to trying out some different ones in the future. The transition to 3D graphics is a bit shaky. I also dislike that you can't make custom recolors like you could in 13, and there's no preview of how the alternate costumes or colors look. Also, look at this alternate costume for Kula. Why does she have huge monkey hands? I understand that she has these robotic looking gloves or whatever in her normal getup, but why did they not fix that here? They're just hands, and they're huge. Hopefully KOF 15 will improve all of those issues. But personally, I would have liked if they went with a high-resolution sprite art style. The Shantae series did exactly that, and it ended up looking awesome. But that's enough about the graphics and for this video. I hope you enjoyed today's review and let me know what you think of this game. I stream somewhat regularly, so follow me on Twitch if you don't want to miss those, or go to the second channel to watch some of the past streams. If you want early access to some of the videos on the channel, check out the Patreon page. I also post updates on what I'm working on there. And finally, if you're looking to get yourself some t-shirts, you should check out tblocks.com. They are a t-shirt subscription service with fully licensed geek and gamer shirts. Use the promo code in the description if you decide to sign up, because you'll support the channel and save $10 off your order. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.